a tired but necessary smile. "Sure, Cliff, what's up?" That's when she noticed Eduardo Duarte, a uniformed security guard standing off to one side and hovering awkwardly in the background. Allie knew Eddie and his wife Rosa. They had met in a hospital room on a juvenile cancer ward where she had gone to cheer them up while the Duarte's 3-year-old son, Alonso, had been undergoing treatment, successful treatment, as it turned out, for leukemia. Allie Reynolds was, after all, the nation's unofficial but very committed one-woman cancer research and treatment spokesperson. This status had been a natural aftermath of her first husband's death from an inoperable brain tumor at the age of 24, 22 years earlier. His death had left Allie a widow at the age of 23, widowed and 7 months pregnant. Christopher had been born a full 2 months after his father's death, and since then Allie had been a tireless crusader for cancer research. She walked in relays for life, participated in races for the cure, and did countless cancer-related public appearances whenever possible, and private appearances as well. For most of the on-air folks at the station, Eduardo Duarte was just another nameless, faceless security guard who checked IDs as employees came and went through the front lobby. For Allie, Eddie was far more than that. She had been with the Duartes in the hospital waiting room and had held their hands during the dark time when no one had known for sure whether or not their child would live. "Hey, Eddie," she said. "How's my man, Lonzo?" "Well, he's okay, I guess, Mrs. Reynolds," Eddie answered, but he kept his eyes averted. And that's when Allie tumbled onto the fact that Cliff Baker's hallway ambush meant trouble. "What's going on, Cliff?" 6 months earlier, Clifford Baker had been brought on board to fix things. At least that was the way the story was told to the news team at the staff meeting when Cliff was introduced. But what had been bad news then was still bad now. It was hard to win the ratings game when there were too many people out in the parking lot smoking joints before and after their shifts, when there were too many people hiding out in their offices with too many lines of coke going up their noses. And Allie Reynolds long suspected that one of those problem noses belonged to Cliff Baker. "The ratings still suck." Allie didn't say anything. She was over 40 in a world in which 35 meant on-air womenfolk were nearing the end of their sell-by date. Standing there in the hallway, breathing the sweet perfume of marijuana smoke wafting off Cliff's rumpled sports jacket, Allie knew exactly what was coming. There was a certain inevitability to the whole process, and Allie wasn't about to say something that would make Cliff's job any easier. If he were there to fire her, he would have to come right out and say so. "We've decided to take the news team in a different direction." Presumably without me, Allie thought, but she kept her mouth shut. "I know this will be difficult for you," Cliff continued. Allie had known from the moment she met the man that he was a cold-blooded bastard. The supposed reluctance he was exhibiting now was all an act, a classic study in self-serving, cover-your-ass camouflage. "And I'm sure this is going to seem hard-hearted," he went on, shaking his head reluctantly. "But we have to let you go. We'll pay you until the end of your contract, of course, and then I'm sure there'll be some severance pay, but after that—" He shrugged. With the news broadcast ended, there were other people coming and going in the hallway. Allie noticed that they all gave the 3 people standing outside the newsroom door a wide berth. Allie wondered, how many of you knew this was coming? She had noticed a few sidelong glances of late, quiet conversations that would die away as soon as she came into the room and resume once she left. But in the cutthroat world of television, she hadn't thought them anything out of the ordinary, and now she knew better, but she couldn't afford to think about her spineless co-workers just then. Instead, she remained focused on Cliff. "Why?" Allie asked. "Why do you have to let me go?" This was a good journalistic gambit. Go for the W's: who, what, why, where, when, and sometimes how. She was never quite sure how the word how had been added to the mix of W's, or why it was considered to be one, but when taking journalism classes from stodgy professors whose grading meant everything, it was a good idea to